Hi, welcome to Ocean Yemi's channel. We talk about, we react, we do reviews, we do other videos on. Please subscribe and tap in and let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what's going on, what's big, what's bigger, what's going on in this time, and if you do enjoy, please stick around and let's continue our conversation. Okay, take care. Bye. Hi, welcome to Ocean Yemi's channel. So the other day I was on my timeline and I saw somebody who was an expat talking about a man who was unalived in Gambia. Now, bear in mind, I have covered some expats, people who are living or have lived in the Gambia, or one being an American lady, which I did go and find out information on, and later on to find out how she passed away. Now this one, they have been other demises in Gambia, but this one seems quite recent. So what I've done, I've looked to the people who are living there to talk about it. One being Marley, who's been living there for quite a long time, and also I found it looks like a conference of some sort of why expats are being unalived in Gambia, being the safety and all that stuff. I think it all came up. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a little bit of Mali first, which is called Senegambia, and we're going to hear what he says about the guy who got unalived in Gambia and how it happened, because he has a lot of detail. And I'm putting this up because a lot of people go to Africa for different reasons, and to think that when you get there, that how this is happening. Now I do know people who is living there, or who's living there, still living there. They're not right, and I think they went back to America, and so to me, and I also know people who has gone there and come back, who is building, who is doing positive things over there, or trying to do positive things over there. I do little bits on Africa anyway, on a whole. So by bringing this forward, it's just because when I tried to find out about the man who got unalived, I wasn't able to find out more information on it. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to bring forward the people who, I think there's an American lady who is now married to an African man I think she lives in Gambia or Kenya, and I'm bringing this other man. So please listen carefully. Please interact with the situation, whether you know what's going on or not going on, because we know people is trying to get out of the West. Now, if you're getting out of the West, you will want to know that you're safe where you are in it. So I'm bringing one who is living there now. So let me just put him on the screen so you can hear his uptake on it. And I'm going to find the other lady on her uptake on it as well. So even though this might be a very brief build on this situation, but like I said, I have covered an expat who was ill in Gambia, and this is sad because, like I said, people be going to Gambia for better life and better living, and to know that how you are unalived when you get there. However, I know people are still going there. There's still people living in certain parts of Africa and they are living quite okay. But this situation here, I'm going to let Senegambia talk.
10-wheeler truck, truck, and I'll have a picture of the truck at the end of this video for you to see. He employs a local young man to be his driver.
Grammarly isn't just a spell check or grammar check.
So you can see he's been looking for months to get over to Gambia, and it's probably just the tip of the iceberg. He's obviously been planning this for a long time. He's obviously been planning this for a long time. You can see in his previous posts that he's been speaking of different business ideas and so on and so forth. So to be able to actually get from talk into do really speaks to his level of commitment to coming over to Africa and actually making a go of it. So he gets over to Africa and he buys a 10-wheeler truck, and I'll have a picture of the truck at the end of this video for you to see. He employs a local young man to be his driver. I'll have his picture at the end as well for you to see. And his plan is to be able to move building materials back and forth across the country to ensure that people can build their homes. So it's a very straightforward, profitable business that he's got in mind, and he's working it. So there he is, he's in his truck. It's him, his driver, and he's on the phone to his daughter. She overhears that the driver says the truck has a problem, pulls over, at which point he mercilessly attacks Brother Leonard, attacks the man with a knife, stabs him up. They dumped his body out right there in an area called Ghana Town. It's so close because it's like just in between where Sister Veronica and Miss Mary died. Just in case you don't know, let me give you some context, right? So first there was Veronica, who had passed away, an American sister. She had died. She died apparently in a house. She died in her house. Apparently there's no foul play according to police. She's just in her house and she just wakes up dead. Then, like a few weeks later on, Miss Mary dies. And Miss Mary's husband has gone back for some reason over to America. And just within the weekend that he's not in the house, she dies in her house by herself. And people.
Let me just do the disclaimer. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism and comment, news reporting, scholarship and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringement. The copyright laws of the United States recognize a fair use of copyrighted content Section 107 of the US Copyright Act status, notwithstanding, I can't read the rest of it, you know what I'm saying in it. So let this play. I just thought I'd do the copyright side of it a bit more because this is a very deep subject. Now, before, like I said, there was a lady that passed away, and I think he's listing the people. One Shakina, which was she was doing stuff in Gambia. She was making, as I said, elephant steps in Gambia, and she made her mark, and they found her unalived, which I will show this one as an example to how deep the safety part of living in Africa is. Okay, so though there is others who are making it and going to Africa and they're okay and they're safe, but sometimes, right, like even if you have the best interest, there's stuff that can happen, basically, you know what I'm saying? So I'm putting this out so that you can learn what is going on. And I don't think that people from the continent dislike the people coming. No, sometimes there's elements that's is there, you know what I mean? And there is good and bad in all walks of life, in all cultures, and Gambia is no exception. So I'm going to let him continue to talk.
People are like, yeah, nothing to see here. That's not strange at all. Then another sister, Andrea, she's talking about how she feels like as though she's not feeling very safe in her place. She's not feeling safe, and then a week later on, she's dead. Just out of the blue, she's dead too. And where this brother was killed was literally just in between where Mary and Veronica had passed away. A couple months later on, I think it was Shakina next, right? Yeah, Shakina passes away. Shakina is definitely killed. She's got there's police involved. There's a suspect. He's been caught, captured, and confessed. Her body was found in a well within the house. Well, it's called a suckaway. It's basically a large well type infrastructure for the house that she was building. He had her belongings, her laptop and so on and so forth on his person. Then there was Andre. Andre also died, but with Andre, it did seem more like as though it was something more natural rather than something that had been, foul play, because he was sitting on his porch outside his house. And that's where he discovered him. All of that to say, it's like we have to be careful. We have to be mindful when we go about our day-to-day business over here in Africa. With Brother Leonard, the plan, according to local media, the plan was that the driver sells the truck, and with the truck money, he goes the illegal way to Europe. So this is the plan, right? I mean, it's like the plan is so bad. To even use the term plan is overhyping this person's thinking process. His plan is to commit murder, then to rob the man, and then sell these stolen goods. And then with the money, give that to someone that will allow him to risk his life in order to get to Europe. Like, I don't think that we understand the desperation that some people have for money. I mean, you know, the cost of labor over here is so much cheaper than it is in the West, that what people get paid for a month work in Gambia is what many people get paid per hour over in America. You hear that? What you get paid for an hour's work is what people over here get paid for a month's work. And so that means that when the likes of you and me turning up here, and we've got closed-toe shoes on, we stand out, because everybody here wears sliders, they wear flip-flops. Because who can afford closed-toe shoes? So, you know, there is this kind of, so we stand out. We stand out. Who can afford to get a haircut regularly? We stand out, like with the simplest things, we stand out. And I've said in previous videos that you've got to be aware of what you do. Whenever I go out, I've sold about 15 plots of land over in the Gambia. Every time I went out, there was one time I forgot, but intentionally, every time I went out, I had a machete with me. Because I'm going out into the bush where no one knows where I am, where no one can see me because we're off the road. And even though I don't know how to use a machete, I'm from London, you know, I'm not using machetes usually. But just having it would be enough to make someone think twice, you know what I mean? Make someone think twice before trying me.
The people want to share something with you today. You know,
that was a hope, that was a plan. And the fact I'm still here tells me that it's worked. We got to be so careful nowadays, brothers and sisters. Like, when you are doing business with somebody, take someone with you. When I see these Indians moving about doing their business in the Gambia, you'll see a pickup truck with 4 Indians and a Gambian driver. So no one's getting touched. No Indian man's getting touched in that business transaction. None. Because it's a lot easier to kill one man than to kill 4 men at the same time. You know? I said in a previous video, you know what? If you're from the States, I believe that if you have a firearm, you can bring it over to Gambia and you can get a license over in Gambia and you can keep that for your safety, for your protection. And people was like, don't encourage them to do that because that's just making things worse. No, it's not. It's keeping you safe. And if someone was to try you and they just saw that you had that level of power of you, you don't actually have to use it. You can shoot up in the sky, you can shoot it in the ground, you could shoot in someone's kneecap. I don't care. I'm not really bothered. But you can stop yourself from being taken out. You've got to look out for one another. I've been saying this for months now. And I keep being told, stop saying that stuff. You're encouraging more people to be killed. Stop saying that stuff. You're stopping people from coming to the country and then I'm not about to sell stuff in my business. You're ruining my business. Stop saying that stuff. People have been telling me to stop talking whilst more people are dying. It's ridiculous. That's what's going on right now, people. And so we've got to do better. You understand? We've got to do better because we know better. Yeah, there's opportunities over here. There's no denying that, and that's the reason why there are so many Indians and Lebanese and people from all walks of life over here. That's why this brother, Leonard, left the UK. Now, you know, he's looking at things like, what was he looking at? He's looking at things like stocks and shares and so on and so forth to make his money. And that's what he's putting. That's what he's posting on his Facebook page. But he pulls the trigger on coming to Africa. So he was looking at different routes to be able to make an income. And the one that he decides on, let me move because the camera's tripping with his background. The one that he agrees, he sticks with, he goes with, is coming over to Africa and doing his best here. And it worked. He had himself a 10-wheeler truck. He had a member of staff. He was getting his business up and running. He could have just continued doing that for a little while and he would have made it. He would have done it. But his life's been cut short, just at the precipice of great things or greatness. His life has been cut down. And I don't want that to happen to any more people. Not after what we've been through. You know, I don't know you personally, but I know that if you are a black person and you live on this planet called Earth, I don't care where, Canada, America, Australia, I don't care where. If you're a black person born on this planet called Earth, you don't deserve to travel to a country in Africa and then be beaten up or be robbed or be killed just because you're trying to do some honest work, just because you're trying to create a good, reliable future, a good, reliable asset for your family. We don't deserve that. We've had enough. We've had enough stuff happen to us and happen to us for that to be okay. All we've got is each other. We've got just us. It doesn't matter where you're from right now because all these borders have not been drawn by us. They've been drawn by others. And if we decide to separate ourselves with the borders, by the borders that have been drawn by others, they've won already. So it's down to us to work together, especially if you're in Africa, especially if you're in Africa. The one good thing I can say about life in Gambia is how well everyone gets on, how well everybody gets on. You know, people from different parts of the world who would have never met have met in this tiny country called Gambia, and they get on and they love each other and they invite each other over for coffee, or if you're English, they invite you over for tea and crumpets, or invite each other for a burger, whatever your thing is, whatever your version of your thing is. We get on and we get along with each other. Here in Senegal, it's a lot bigger. So it's a bit more clicky because, you know, you got to, like, I'm in Sally and the car is a good hour and a half drive away. So I'm not going to be hanging out with those people over there because it's too damn far. But same rules apply. We get on. So let's work together, okay? Let's stay strong, stay the course. One thing I do know.
And that is so sad because, like, you leave the West because, like, you want to build you want to build. I think this conversation has been had before, where like people has left and they have built and they've formed communities in different parts of Africa. There is a big community, I think I think it's Gambia and Ghana and different places, you know. So to me, when I hear from the horse's mouth, sometimes it's best to hear it this way, because he has literally spoken about I forgot the lady and I forgot her name who passed away. He's spoken about Shakina before, and now it's like now he's able to give a detailed of thing of what happened to Brother Leonard, you know, and what was his goal from going to Gambia for, right? And what happened to him, because many have struggled, like they reach Africa, they struggle, they make it, and my friend did tell me a few things about, you know, like when you're there, how you got movements and stuff. Like I said, I know 2 elders that's in Gambia, so I know if I have any questions, I would ask them. Well, actually, I know a few people who's been to Gambia. I would ask them, like, you know, the ins and outs, because like you do need trusted links when you go down there. And I did hear before a long time ago that there was loads of robberies going on as well at one point. So as much as there is pros to going to Africa, there's also cons to it too. So like he said, that how like they keep it as a community down there, because like, you know, they be doing their land, and they will stick out because of how they are dressed, which in most countries it's like that, because it's like if you go to like I always use Trinidad as an example. If you go to Trinidad, well, what used to happen before, when they hear the accent, they think you have loads of money, or they think that you are rich over here, but in fact you're not. And many people has left England and gone to Jamaica and other parts and has been unalived in them spaces. So I'm not just saying that this happens in Gambia, it happens all over certain places in the West Indies, because loads of people retire to the West Indies, build their houses, and they go, right? So, but some people go further as to go to Africa, because that is also the dream, and it's also one of the things that especially if you're part of the conscious community or not, because I know some people who's not, and they go to Africa and they build and they do what they're going to do and they make their movements. So this, to me, this was such a sad story. I thought, let me put it up, because when I heard it from, I forgot the lady's name, with her husband, who's African descent, and she said that she's been through a lot. She'd been through a lot, and she was there and she was building and everything else. And like when she heard about it, because she's heard when she heard about it, it made her upset, being that she is from America herself. Now the ladies put that video on members, so I won't even be able to get that. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play Shakina, who he spoke about, because like I show you, people don't know who these people he's talking about. I did do a video on the other, I think one of the ladies he spoke about, but I don't know. I might put her up. I don't know. But Shakina, because she was doing great works where she was, I'm going to show who she is as well, because most of the people, they be going like with plans to build and add to the economical world of Gambia. Like this guy, he went there now with his truck, and he went to add, like, he's not going there to take, or he went to add to Gambia by taking I think it was a tractor, he said, a tractor, so that when they're building on land, it'd be made easier, right? And he was unalive, and the person decided that how they're going to use his things to go back to Europe. But I think he said he got caught. The person got caught. But let's play Shakina. Let me see if I got it lined up. Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna play who Shakina is, who got unalived, and then I'm gonna play how the descendants feel being unsafe in Gambia.
Ado, I introduce Shakira Shindi. Oh,
Should I help you?
yeah, help me, please. The name sorry guys, I've been struggling with this name. I'm not the best when it comes to names. She's got a very cultural, nice name, but I'm messing it up. So you can. So over to you.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
So let me help you with the pronunciation, which is very easy. It is Shakina Chinedu.
Thank you. Shakina Chinedu.
Chinedu. Yeah.
So Shakina.
I'll help you a bit. If you say chi and then nedu, chinedu.
Chinedu.
That will help you, yeah.
Okay, chinedu. Okay. So Shakina, what is a typical day like for you, typical day in Gambia for you?
Wake up, go on my veranda, look out at the beautiful weather and the animals and listen to the different sounds. That's really nice. Then come back in, make a herbal tea concoction. And then breakfast might be either a healthy porridge made with some homemade milk or a bowl of fruits, which are locally grown that I can obtain here. So that's how a typical day starts. Then I might have a number of things to do in my diary. I might be in court one day. I might have to go and do some site visits where I'm building. Might go and do some land deals, other meetings, meeting people, helping them, advising them, how they can move to Africa. Different things really, but a variety according to what's in my diary each day. But always very interesting, always. Every single day is interesting.
Okay. So going on to some of the actual activities, how do you, obviously you've had your legal practice, I take it it's no more in the form of England, but you've transferred your skills and expertise over to Africa. So how do you help people in Africa?
What I do here, I help people. So when I say go to court, I'll represent people at court here who have maybe got disputes over land or contractual issues or housing issues, maybe an eviction orders, things like that. So those are the type of things I can go to court and plead on behalf of, particularly returnees who have had a challenging experience here in the Gambia.
What kind of experience would that be?
Well, if I just think about some of the cases I've got now, one where, well, actually, no, that's been judged already, hasn't it? There's an eviction order that's still going now where somebody's moved into somebody's house without their authority and it's difficult to get them out. There's a land dispute that's coming to an end now. I'm just waiting for the judgment, but because of this corona thing, I think we're being adjourned, but we'll see when that comes back. So that's a judgment that I'm expecting in the next 2 weeks or so. And also any issues, again, regarding any debt orders. People have taken people's money, said they're going to do something, they haven't done it, and they might have had some sort of contract, whether verbal or written, and you go to court and you try and plead that case as well.
So similar, more or less the same kind of cases you'll be dealing with in England, apart from the
very, very similar, very similar. Though I did a lot more employment law in the UK. You don't really do any of that here. It's more just the civil contractual matters here more than anything else.
So speaking of employment, do you employ any people out there?
Oh, I do, definitely. I have a small building company, and I employ quite a lot as subcontractors under my umbrella, but they all have their own business, but I find work for them as well. So plumbers, electricians, builders, all those sorts of people, borehole drillers, and just make sure that, can keep them in work. But when we're building houses, we could have maybe 15 people on site at the same time. So that's 15 families that are able to, pay their fees, etc.
Okay, that's good. We had a slight connection problem there, but
yes, I just saw that on screen.
It sorted itself out.
Is that your end or my end?
I couldn't tell you. Our Wi-Fi here is very good. I cannot comment on the West Africa Wi-Fi, so I have not been there.
It's usually quite good too. So yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What made you make the decision to invest in Africa?
I've never been comfortable in the UK, even though I was born there. It's not a place I'm comfortable there because, we're always reminded in one form or another that we are not British, if you want to call it that, English, we're not accepted there. So I was never interested in growing old gracefully or disgracefully in the UK. So even from a very young age, I knew that I wasn't going to retire there. My initial plans was to retire in Antigua, where my parents come from. But, on visiting Africa, I liked it here so much, I decided that this would be the place for me and changed my retirement plans and retired here instead. And I think it's important to invest in Africa because Africa's our land. And, if we don't build Africa, somebody else will come in and build it, but at a cost to us. So I think it's really important that we bring our skills and monetary capital to Africa. So, it's not just about bringing the money to Africa, it's about bringing the skills as well to create money in Africa. And I think, if we don't do that, we'll have as we can see now, a second round of colonization in Africa because, we haven't come here to do things, but the Chinese, the Indian, everybody else, they can see the value in Africa, but we still need some convincing on that.
No, I understand that. I have family members myself who have no intention on ever coming to the motherland. They're very happy with their little island, to put it nicely.
Yeah.
So it's in England or Jamaica and the Caribbean. And it's quite sad, but I think in time people do come around. You have to usually get the right family member out there and they do kind of marketing for you when they get back.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
In that respect, and then everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon. But
Africa's not for everybody.
That's very true.
And I'm only beginning to realise that now. And like you said, it is sad. I used to get really upset about it, people didn't want to come to Africa and stuff. And then I realised that, back in the 20s, Marcus Garvey said, it's not everybody that's going to want to come. And those that don't want to come, you have to leave them. As sad as it is, you have to leave them because they don't want to come. Maybe they will wait until things get really, really bad before they run off, in a haste. But those of us that have heeded the call, will come and will enjoy what's rightfully ours.
I think there's two ways to look at it. And I would go with the second way, where it's not sad if everybody doesn't want to come, because it's good to have ties and network in both places. So if everybody went to Africa, then any new technology that we're not up onto speed on, you're having to deal with other groups of people, let's say.
Yes.
But where you have, just like the Indians and Jews and many other cultures out there, where they can just deal with people anywhere in the world because they have people placed here and there. So I think that's a great idea
Right.
in that respect. Yeah, the other way is it's sad. But I think once everybody wants to see that safari that David Attenborough always speaks about.
Oh, but that's not all of Africa.
I know it's not all of Africa, but it's one of those things you can only get in Africa.
Yes, definitely.
So that is something for people to be interested in.
I think people have got to accept Africa for what it is. We had a celebration a few months ago, and one of the speakers said, if you want to see Africa in a particular way, you create that type of Africa. And I'd never thought about it in that way before. But, if we want to see Africa in a particular way, it's up to us Africans to make that happen. We can't depend on anybody else to do it for us.
What's been the most valuable lesson you have learned?
Oh, gosh, to be grateful for what I had. Now, let me explain that. Not that I haven't had, because I've had a lot. I've had a very privileged upbringing and life so far. But I think Africa humbles you a little bit. And, you realize that some of the materialism that we were running for, killing ourselves for in the West, was really just almost brainwashing us or stopping us from being more creative. And I find that in Africa, not because you can't have the niceties, because you can if you want to, but it also makes you realize that you can be more creative with your surroundings and what you have. So, you might look at different materials, natural materials that you can use in building, or recycling things more, instead of just, I can throw away that handbag and get another one. Why not just cover it in African cloth or something like that? So it does help you to be a little bit more grateful for what we have been blessed with as a people, in terms of the resources, the surroundings that we have, maybe not to waste things so much, because, you don't need to waste things here, because you realize that some people have and some people don't have. So, that throwaway culture and everything that we might have been around in the UK or other places, that we realized we were just really being a little bit selfish at times. So it's just about realizing what we have, being grateful for what we have, especially having so much of nature giving us what we have. Every season there's a different food to eat, which is really nice. We don't have that luxury in the UK, and we could pick it straight from the tree. I'm vegan, so I don't eat meat and fish. But, even the people that eat fish, they can go to the sea, to the fishing village, let's say, buy their fish, and within an hour it's on their plates. Really fresh, not something that's been in the deep freeze in Tesco or Sainsbury's for months and months. Again, the meat is fresh because, the animals will be slaughtered, maybe early in that day, and then you buy the meat in the afternoon. And as I said, we've just come out of watermelon season. We're in orange season now, and I'm watching the mangoes like a hawk, because mangoes are coming soon, and they're my favorite. So you're looking forward to all the different things that you can eat that keeps you healthy, and just makes you really grateful that in Africa we've got a lot. We don't have to go out and buy everything.
Yeah, pineapples are my favorite.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And because
I bought 2 the other day.
We're next to, I was based in Kenya, because we're next to Uganda, we kind of get a double season, because Uganda's season's different, slightly different from Kenya's.
Right.
And Ugandans have a different kind of pineapple as well. I didn't realize, but their pineapples are big. But Kenyan pineapples are good as well. But I just have to say, that's a lot of my listeners are Kenyan. Yeah, in that respect. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Regarding buying land for foreigners, is that a hard thing?
No, not at all. There is a rule about how much any one person can buy, which is 50 by 50, which is about half an acre. So let's say if I was a single person buying, that would be my limit in one transaction. A couple could buy, say, 1 acre, which is about 100 by 100, which is a massive plot of land anyway. But otherwise than that, even if you're not a citizen, you can still buy land here.
Is it leasehold, freehold?
Both. You can buy both.
Okay, that's good.
You can buy both. I've got a number of estates here. Most are freehold, but one is leasehold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where are your estates located? Are by the ocean or inland?
Well, because Gambia is a small place, you're never very far from the beach at all, or the river, because it's a small, it's the smallest mainland country in Africa. So it's very, very tiny. It's just a slither of Senegal, really. So you're not far. So where I've got estate number 1, 3, and 4, they're quite near, literally across the road from the beach, and maybe 10-minute walk or drive to the beach. Number 2 is near the river and the forest, and number 5 might be about 20-25 minutes to drive to the beach.
Okay.
So as I said, not very far at all to get to the beach.
So are your estates part of your business empire, as in your like timeshares, that kind of thing?
No, it's not like that. Well, it started off as, somebody gave me an opportunity to sell 40 plots of land, and I took it, and it sold within 3 days. And I thought, wow, it's amazing. People really want to come home. And then I started getting more and more inquiries. And, do another estate that will go very quickly, so on and so forth.
Okay, see, this is just the voice of Shakina, right? One who has been unalived in Gambia. She seemed like she had loads of talent, ambitions, and she knew where she was going, and she seemed like she had a lot of things sorted, being that she had land and stuff to sell, and I think she was living on one other plot of the land what she's describing. Not only that, she's a lawyer, so I did not know she was a lawyer as well on top of it. So I've learned something new about her already. But it's a shame that how such a I'll say a guiding light was taken out, doing and in the place where she loves. You can hear how intellectual, articulate she is, and everything else that goes with it. And I'm sure in real life, when people met her, they she's very on it. I mean, I'll say like she must most probably inspired a lot of people to go to Gambia as well. So it's a shame that she left this world in the way she did. May she rest in the ancestors' arms, and I'm sure her work is still continuing, though she's not here. Because I don't even I wouldn't even know what to say to her relatives. I know it's been a while since this had happened, but being how this British man has been unalive now, so it's getting a bit it's happening a bit too regular now. Okay, it's happening a bit too frequent now. So but like she said, the how it's like a paradise over there. She can just go out to pick a mango, go and get certain fruits out there. She don't have to wait to go to the supermarket, the grocery store, and it sounds all nice and everything. Just a shame that how being what's happening now. I mean, I'm sure it used to happen before, but now it's more highlighted because the people that is getting on alive now, they are known in the community, in the community. I'll say one being the conscious community and the expat community, right? So I'm going to go to another video right now, and I think they're talking about the safety of people that is in Gambia, and this one's new, so
defend beyond.
oops.
And descent residing in the Gambia was found dead in her compound after being missing for 2 days. The Gambia police force later disclosed that Chinedu had allegedly been murdered by Augustine Bangura, a Sierra Leonean national who was subsequently brought before the High Court of the Gambia. This week, the police issued a statement confirming the investigation into another alleged murder of Leonard Dominic, also a British national of African descent, who was killed on October 19, 2024. In response, the Council of African Descendants held a press conference to address these disturbing incidents within the Gambia diaspora community. The Council appealed for urgent attention to the murderous and growing insecurity facing African descendants in the Gambia. Luke Mackenzie, chairman of the COAD, stated during the press conference that the culture of silence is no longer an option, given the increasing attacks on their community. Many African descendants present shared concerns over burglaries and violence, expressing feelings of vulnerability in the country.
It's come the time where we no longer can be quiet. I remember when I first came to this country, and we used to have little situations that would be happening, and people would say to me, shh, 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 be quiet, don't say anything, either because of culture, because of that we were new in the country, and it took some time would be offensive. But when life is being taken away from us, then the time to be quiet is finished. We can no longer be quiet.
Empress Zahra, a community member, recounted a burglary at her residence 5 months ago, adding to a series of distressing experiences shared by others.
On the 19th of June, I'm just going to break it down. I was attacked in my home whilst I was asleep. They had me at knife point. They dragged me from my bedroom to the living room. They demanded money from me, which they got. They demanded jewelry. They took my phones, and they stripped me from my dignity. My only defense at that time was to quickly think. So I was with my grandson at the time, so my immediate reaction was to spray them with the pepper gas, which worked. But in the meantime, it worked, but I got repercussion from it because the person that did this stabbed me at the same time.
Binta, another African descendant, called on the Gambia government to provide stronger assurance for their safety and that of all citizens.
My expectation of the government is bold and strong statements to the country about zero tolerance of these types of crimes that are happening, what they will do to combat this, where their energies are going to be placed, and their strong feelings about what is happening in Gambia today, and putting out a strong message to the country that this is something that will not be tolerated. We need this kind of statements that to be made from this government, not just to us who are here, coming here, but to Gambian people who are also concerned, very concerned about what is happening today in this country.
Lita Robertson, who has lived in the Gambia for 12 years, highlighted the challenges faced by the Gambia police force, noting a lack of resources and equipment essential for effective law enforcement.
What I'm trying to say is that we have a police force here, but they're so underfunded, you know, they don't seem to be able to do very much. It's not that they don't have the ability, They have the ability to do it, but they're so underfunded, that they just don't do very much. So if you're not prepared to put your hands in your pocket, then they're not even going to come to see what your problem is.
Human rights advocate Mar Nyang, who is also the executive director of Gambia Participates, urged authorities to expedite the prosecution of perpetrators, stressing that timely justice could help curb crime rates.
You can go anywhere at any time without being chased after, because there was law and order. We want to restore that law and order. And the only way to restore that law and order is for to the police to do the due diligence and make sure any single perpetrator is held accountable for their action. Now, this is one way of deterring such illicit activity from happening again. Where there is justice and accountability, people will not be acting this way. But if we keep reporting these criminal activities and the police, based on your account and based on the account of my Moroccan colleague and many others, that the police keep demanding money from them, then it becomes unbearable. Now, how do we welcome or encourage people like you from other side of the world that want to resettle back here in Gambia? Will they come back? So I stand with you guys. I stand with everyone. In fact, it is not only unsafe for you, but every single month, hypothetically speaking, we also hear Gambians being murdered and thrown in the bush, or their bodies found somewhere else. That's never been the case in this country. That's not the Gambia that we have known for. So I think, number one, the call to action is to the state to make sure they intensify their patrol during the day and during the night. Number two, every single perpetrator of such crimes are investigated, arrested, and held accountable. And number three, to create a conducive environment, secured environment for that matter, so that we can work in harmony, we can work in love. At the same time, we will have a peace of mind.
The Council of African Descendants in the country called on the government to enhance their security and protect them from further harm, voicing frustration over the handling of cases by the police and demanding more thorough investigations. The press conference served as a platform to raise awareness, discuss support for victims' families, and strategize to improve safety within the community. Reporting for Kerfatu, I am Baga.
That is sad, because even the Gambians are getting unalived by perpetrators, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm glad that they are actually having this dialogue amongst them, as well as the ones who is going there to live. Because if this conversation is not had, then this will continue to happen. This will also put a mark on Gambia. I mean, people say a lot of places is unsafe. You can't go there. You can't go there. And we also see certain YouTubers going there just to test the water to see whether it's safe or unsafe and all this stuff. And I believe some people go there to retire. Some people go there to pass away. As I've been told by ones who has lived there, some people go to live there to be at peace. Some people go to start businesses. Some people go to help the people there by generating, also giving jobs to people that is there. So if there is no middle ground, then this will happen continuously. Now, I was gonna play Shakina's news when she passed, but I'm not gonna do it because I feel that this one here is showing that they are trying to sort it out. They're trying to sort it out. And even though, like, yes, on YouTube, yes, it can be presented as a nice place and whatever, it's the people who's actually there who actually knows what's going on. But like I said, and I think others have said, you need to show the pros and cons, the good thing about Gambia and the bad thing about Gambia. And they show all the pretty stuff and all the nice stuff, because you need to bring reality to the situation. So if people decide to reach there, they have an option, they know what they're going up against, and it's not made to look pretty, because at least I know if I go to the West Indies, I know what's against me, because Trinidad shows the good and the bad side of the West Indies. They show, okay, there's festives and there's this going on, but then on the other hand, there's other people showing, okay, well, these type of violences is going on down there. So obviously when you're moving, you have to move a certain way when you're in the country. So this needs to be highlighted as well. Like Marley said, they know the difference when you are not from the country, because they walk with slippers and open toe shoes and certain stuff. But I really think that they need to list and let you know how to move when you're down there too, the safety aspect. Also, letting people know where you're going when you're down there. When people is not well, families need to know, because this has also happened with, I forgot her name, the one that I covered, where people did not know what had happened to her, right? Nobody knew what happened to her. It was like Chinese whispers, right? Then after a while, it turns into propaganda, or it turns into something else. No. People need to know the good side of Africa and the bad side of Africa. That way, right, when you decide to go there now to live or whatever, especially if you hear the lady said she had her grandchild there. Now, that could have ended in a whole different conversation, right? Luckily, she had her pepper spray. And even so, she still said they took away all what she had, her phones, her this, her that, and get so there is a big safety thing going on in Gambia that needs to be addressed, right? I know there's several people who promote living in Africa and stuff like that. Please, can you also address the different safety aspects, what to expect when you go there? What happens when you buy land? What happens when this has happened? What happens when this has happened? What happened? Yes, I'm not saying don't show the good stuff. Show all the other stuff. Like, you see, like how now I've tried to find the article on the man that had passed, and I couldn't find nothing of it, because nobody's put the article. Either they don't want to talk about it in the West, or they don't want to talk about it in some ways. And I would expect that other sources will give out the information of this man's demise, how it happened to him. Enough of the Chinese whispers. If we can't all come together and sit down and talk about it, or especially to the ones who want to go to Africa, right? You don't need to even write or do videos explaining the safety aspect of it all. When you go there, what to expect when you leave from the airport to when you reach where you're going to stay, what's going to happen when you buy your houses or your land. You have to talk about the scams that goes on down there. You have to cover every single angle, because it's starting to look very, very, very bad at this moment now. All right, it's looking very bad. All right, so with that said, I'm going to leave it right here, listening to the voice of Shakina, Chinedu, who obviously had a bigger future for Gambia. That was all cut short. She represented the people of the UK. She represented a lot of things. And she had, like I said, once again, she had a lot of talent. There's another few American women that passed as well. If I didn't know about certain YouTubes, I wouldn't know what's going on. So please be safe wherever you are, because like we know in all different parts of the world it's dangerous. It's not right. Do you know what I mean? So please bear that in mind. So any expats, repats, however you want to call yourself, please highlight certain stuff. It's important. Because people's always planning to leave to go to Africa. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to leave it right there until the next one. I know I was meant to do something else, but I just couldn't hold my peace no more on this one. So I thought I'd bring this one forward. Please, if you are an expat or a repat, please comment underneath. Mali, Senegambia, who else? Travel by Tay Tay. Can't remember. There's a few of you guys out there. So please come and comment. If you are living in Gambia, what do you think of the safety aspect of it and all that stuff? And yeah, so with that said, I'm gonna leave it right there. Take care. Bye.